MAGA foreign policy goes like this: Israel first, Argentina first. MAGA domestic policy is own the libs. That's it. That's the list. And what's happening in Argentina should be the canary in the coal mine for all of the MAGA voters who voted because of inflation and they wanted to be able to get further ahead in their jobs. They were sick of income inequality and they felt like Trump, for God knows what reason, was somehow going to be the change agent. And so what we have right here, put up this headline, Kylie, is Trump has extended a $20 billion line of money to Argentina to stabilize Javier Milei's failing economy. And you may be like, why the fuck does he care about this guy? Why are we giving Argentina $20 billion? Well, it turns out Milei is a huge MAGA thumper, and he went all in on Muskonomics. He's a Muskonomics guy, and you have Elon Musk and Scott Bessent. Trump has no economic plan. He has concepts of a plan, but he's never had an economic plan because he bankrupts everything. So here's what happened in Argentina. Pop this up, Kylie. Economic collapse, and then we're going to have a U.S. bailout. Milei assumed office in December of 2023 amid hyperinflation and economic chaos. He pushed a shock therapy agenda: deregulation and spending cuts. He basically eliminated a bunch of departments and did exactly what Elon Musk did with Doge and what Scott Bessent and others, Howard Lutnick and Trump, all continue to do with the United States economy. He issued a mega decree to slash regulations across the economy. Economy was extremely fragile, capital flight and currency pressure, so all investors left Argentina. Over 1 billion sold to defend the peso, and he drained the reserves. And now Milei is seeking $20 billion U.S. bailout and aid package. This happened in 2 years.
Yeah.
This happened in 2 years, and this is the exact plan. This is Muskonomics, this libertarian, cut all social services. We're so smart. We're going to fix everything. And now the United States of America is bailing out Argentina, and you have people whose social services have been cut. And it seems like every single time I turn around, Pumps, this administration puts Israel first, and it puts Argentina first. And you have a bunch of Americans who voted for this man, who live in rural America, that they voted for him because they think he loves the country and he thought he was going to help them. And he lied to them. He lied his ass off to these people. They were nothing but a transactional vote for him. Meanwhile, their hardworking dollars are going to Israel to kill kids and to Argentina because they elected a dipshit.
Well, and it just, all we hear about is that rural hospitals are closing. Younger people can't buy a house. We've got people on social services because they work full time, but the minimum wage is so low. And I look at this and I think, if we don't have money to fund education or hospitals or Social Security, we're taking money that people put into the government and we're saying they can't have it back, then why the fuck? Where are you getting the money to bail out a foreign country? If you can't help your own citizens, why are you doing it to other people? And then I think it's because they don't give a shit. They don't care.
Yes. And Kylie, put up the Midas Touch tweet. MAGA told us over and over again that Milei was bringing prosperity to Argentina. They used MAGA propaganda machine to highlight his austerity politics as a model for the U.S. Now that the outcome has been devastating, they are making the United States bail out their failed experiment. End wokeness in 2023, when Milei was running for president, all he had to do was stand next to a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, because that hits hard in MAGA. And End Wokeness tweets, holy shit, Argentina just elected Javier Milei as their next president. History has been made today. And Elon Musk says prosperity is ahead for Argentina. We're 2 years, a year and a half behind them right now, you guys. Elon Musk went into the federal government and they did this exact same thing. The big, beautiful bill is this exact same thing. So then that leaves me the question, who's going to bail us out? Because last time I checked, everybody hated us because Kanks is so unlikable.
Right. I mean, no one's going to bail us out. They're going to celebrate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I need you blue state liberals to stop calling the farmers who voted for their own personal financial ruin stupid. It's infantilizing. They aren't stupid. To actually manage a farm effectively requires insane depths of knowledge in math, science, logistics. These people aren't dumb. But what they are learning, for I think in some cases the first time in their lives, is how expensive racism is. They heard Trump loud and clear when he said that he would deport their labor force and that he would tariff essentially all of the inputs they need to run their facilities. And they absolutely heard him when he claimed over and over again that the US gave too much to the world in aid, and therefore those aid streams, which most often include the food these farmers grow, would be cut. They heard it all. They just didn't believe it. They thought this was just Trump 1.0 and there would be enough adults in the room to say, hey, this is reckless. We can't do this because it will dismantle the economy. Yeah, a lot of farmers were hurt during the first Trump administration. Thanks to his reckless trade wars, particularly with China, a lot of them went bankrupt. And the bailouts that originally happened under Trump's first term didn't mostly even go to these small-scale farmers. It ended up going to big agribusiness. And I have a feeling, if past is prologue, we're gonna see that happen again if bailouts happen at all. Because the reality is these people do not actually want to save these small-scale farms. People in this admin, like J.D. Vance, very specifically invested in things like Acre Trader. Their goal is for these farmers to go bankrupt so that they can consolidate, buy up huge swaths of their land, and make a fortune. So I'm not gonna lie to you, there is very little incentive for anybody in this administration to actually give these farmers a bailout, no matter how angry and white and male they are. I doubt there are any farmers listening to this at the moment, but the billionaires do not care about you. They actually just want to take your stuff. So even if a bailout does come, and I doubt an effective one will, but if it does, it is going to be meager enough to keep these people in dire financial straits. Because the goal of a lot of these billionaires and investment firms is to make them desperate enough to sell. So you can say goodbye to small-scale family farms, that's for sure. What's kind of funny about this is that Let's Go Brandon tried to bail you out for real. And that's probably the last time anyone will, so.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. What you've just seen is the reality many American farmers, especially the MAGA farmers, are facing today. This video is all about how their lives have been shaken and how karma has come back around and why many of them are turning against Donald Trump. Credit goes to the original creators of these clips. Now let's dive deeper into the video.
Make this stuff up. Donald Trump announced this week that he will be using tariff money to solve a problem created by, yes, his tariffs. Yes, I am talking about the farm subsidies. Here's Donald Trump just this week.
By the way, we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, just to get off the subject for a second, we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers, who are, for a little while, going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit.
Oh, I see. So we are going to take the tariff money that American consumers primarily are spending, which was supposed to go to pay off our deficit, which has exploded because of Republican tax policy, and use it to bail out farmers because why? Trump said they're hurting. Why are they hurting? Let's do a quick review. You'll remember that right after he was elected, Donald Trump put 10% tariffs on all Chinese goods, then that went up to 20%, then he added another 50%, and China retaliated. Their reciprocal tariffs went up to 125% on U.S. goods. In May, the U.S. and China reached a temporary trade agreement, reducing tariffs to 10% on most imported goods. China implemented a 30% rate on most U.S. imports, good for 90 days. But then that was extended many times. But China did something else. They revoked soybean import licenses from 3 U.S. firms. And they basically stopped buying U.S. soybeans at all. This after having spent $12.6 billion on them last year. Instead, China started buying their soybeans from South America, primarily Argentina and Brazil. And this in turn had devastating impacts on American soybean farmers. Started seeing headlines like these and these. And these. In short, the tariffs have been an absolute catastrophe for soybean farmers across the United States. Catastrophe. So what does Donald Trump do? He commits $20 billion in U.S. taxpayer money to bail out Argentina, a right-wing government he happens to love, even though they are cleaning our farmers' clock in terms of soybean imports. Farmers everywhere are outraged, so what does Trump do? Trump decides this week to take tariff money and bail out the farmers. He's created a problem and he's making us pay to fix it. And then we're also paying to fix Argentina's economy? What? This is Trump's genius policy, break the economy with unaffordable tariffs that we're paying and then make us pay to fix the damage the tariffs did? But God forbid we ask for money to extend the ACA premium tax credits. Why would we do that when we could give it to Argentina? Remind me how this is making America great again? You can't, because it's absolute madness And you and I are paying for it.
We are being forced to bail out another country's farmers at the expense of our own. EC plans to send Argentina $20 billion in economic assistance. And what does Argentina do? They cut their export taxes and sold shiploads of soybeans to China in just 2 days. Meanwhile, farmers right here in Arkansas are left behind with falling prices and no market. I have been an Arkansas soybean farmer my entire life, until this year, when a deepening farm crisis forced my family to close a 150-year-old operation, and we weren't alone. And now this is coming for even more of us. Politicians like Tom Cotton are letting DC put Argentina over places like Arkansas. As a farmer myself, that is something I would not allow. I will fight for trade policies that put Arkansas farmers first, every time. I'm Hallie Schaffner. I'm the 6th-generation Arkansas farmer running to unseat Tom Cotton in the U.S. Senate.
This is my 39th crop. I started in 1986, the year I graduated high school. I could plant an acre of beans in 1986 for 30 bucks. It irritates me that you don't have the guts to acknowledge that the people do not pay the tariffs. I don't care if it's John Deere, Case, Caterpillar, all that stuff is outsourced overseas. And the guy that pays it is the guy that purchased it. I can buy a bearing for a combine, and it's made in Taiwan, or who knows where. Parts have over doubled in the last year, if you can get them. The dealer at Marshall has a backlog for almost 4 months because they can't get parts because of Trump's stupid tariffs. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs, more so the tariffs than the trade. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red after the crop comes off, sold. You can only sit on it so long. You got bills to pay, and now we're dealing with 7, 8, 9, 10% operating notes at the local bank. You know, when are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs, more so the tariffs than the trade.
Look, I just have to say this. I really don't understand why any of you farmer folks out there actually voted for Donald Trump. I mean, you knew what a tariff was. Or did you not do your research? You see, I have told this story over and over again because I want people to understand that I didn't know what a tariff was. Okay? Originally, when Donald Trump said tariff, I had no idea what the hell that was supposed to be. Thankfully, I had other people that were there to educate me. Midas Touch, Adam Mockler, Brian Tyler Cohen. During that timeline to really help educate me and, help me learn what a tariff is. If there was something that I was taught in school, I forgot about it. Here's the thing. If you don't know what it is, you should have done your research. And you have to understand that you can't trust the words of Donald Trump, okay? He is a well-known liar. He lies pretty much about every single thing that he says every single day. The only time that he really ever tells the truth is when he said that smart people don't like me. And at the beginning of his presidency, of his second term here, he was like, people are going to have to absorb the cost of the tariffs. That they'll have to make this sacrifice because he was going to go on his tariff, put on those tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and then he got some deal. Remember, he wanted to make claim that he got deals from Mexico and Canada when he really didn't get any deals at all. It was the same type of agreement that was made with the Biden administration. In fact, though, he got less soldiers at the border of Mexico than Biden had, so he really just did a fucked up deal. I'm not going to go into a long rant here, but I just don't understand the ideology that you guys had that, you know what, we gotta, I'm not gonna do my, southern impression. I just don't understand how you could have gone for that. I understand that we all felt the effects of the prices in the Biden administration, and it was frustrating for people to be told that inflation is down, and you're like, well, if inflation is down, why don't I feel it in the prices? Like, what the fuck's going on here? And the truth is that we failed. My side failed to educate people onto reminding them what tax plan that we were on. Were we under the Biden tax plan? No. We were under the Trump tax plan. Why did the economy go pretty well sometimes under the Trump administration at the beginning for the most part? That was because we were under, Barack Obama's economy. Okay? And then Trump came in, he was running off the back of it, and then eventually, he put in a tax break for the millionaires and billionaires. What did that do? Didn't help you. What happened? A pandemic happened. And then that didn't make anything better either. Because then, inflation went up and yada, yada, yada. A lot of shit happened. And trust me, I know that it was frustrating to, be told to just give it time. I know that it was absolutely frustrating for people to be told that you just need to give it time and that things will get better. I know that some people on the left tried making that claim, and I'm like, look, I understand that frustration, but it's not going to get any better if you give a vote to Donald Trump, who made an impossible promise of getting prices down on day one. Kamala Harris was telling all of you that she had plans to try to lower the prices to go after price gouging. Would it have worked? Quite possibly. Economists said that her plan was far better than Donald Trump's plan. Donald Trump never swayed from the plan of tariffs, even though he knew that tariffs were never going to be good for any of you. So, I just have to say, I'm not trying to beat any of you guys down while you're hurting. I just can't understand why in the world you would have thought that somehow this is going to benefit you, doing what you did. And maybe you're not one of the farmers that, voted for Donald Trump. I don't know. However, I know that a majority of farmers, I believe a majority of them did. And you should have recognized exactly what was going to happen. And again, if you didn't know what a tariff was, you should have done your research. I'll never forget that I, heard that people researched what a tariff was after they voted. They researched what mass deportation is after they voted. I'm like, are you serious? You know how important that voting is, and you just said, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to vote. I'll check my work later. Oh, no, can I change my vote? No. No, you can't. You can't. You're stuck. You made your choice. You had time to research it. I understand we all live busy lives, but, when you got something like this that's this important, you probably should do research on it. Anyways, I'm out. Don't want to make this into a too long video.
Hey everybody, well there it is folks. Argentina is selling all of their soybeans to China now because of the tariffs that Trump has initiated against other countries. And it's not that Trump has initiated tariffs on soybeans to China or anything like that. It's just China's like, we don't need you. So there it is. $47 billion that would have gone to the 500,000 American soybean farmers are now going to Argentina. Now, American farmers, almost 80% of them voted for Trump. So if you have 500,000 soybean farmers, that means 400,000 of them who are now on the verge of going bankrupt voted for Trump. And I saw in another TikTok video, I'm not prepared to talk about it, but this guy was really good. I really should give him a shout out. I will in the notes or something. He came across my feed that there's this company called Acre Trader. And guess what they specialize in? They specialize in buying up distressed farms. Guess who's a major shareholder in that? J.D. Vance. So